This is the second half of our notes for standard form. And what we're looking at today is looking at graphing linear equations in standard form. So we have two options. The first option is to convert the standard equation, the standard form, into slope-intercept form, and then graph it from there. And then the second option is if it's set up correctly, we can go ahead and find the x and y intercepts and then connect the 2 points of the line. So let's look at the slope-intercept form first because it's something we're more familiar with. So the steps are we want to go ahead and convert this into slope-intercept. So y equals mx plus b. So the y is all by itself. So here's my y. I want to move everything away from it. So when I move this x across the equal sign, it's no longer positive x, it now becomes negative x. The 2y comes down, so this is 2y equals negative x plus 8. I'm still not in slope-intercept form yet, so what I need to do is I need to divide everything by 2. So I'm going to divide it by 2. I'm peeling that 2 off of the y, so therefore this becomes y equals negative 1/2 x plus 8 divided by 2 is 4. So now that I have my slope-intercept form, now I can go ahead and graph it. My y-intercept, I'll go ahead and write this over here. My slope is negative 1/2. My y-intercept is 4. So my y-intercept is 4. I start here. And because my slope is negative 1/2, that means I go down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2. And then I can go ahead and connect my line. Again, when we start in standard form, the way standard form is written, it should be written as AX. Back my camera up a little bit. It should be written as AX plus BY equals C. And so the pattern's always the same. You move the A and the X to the other side, and then you divide everything by B. So in this problem, I have X plus Y equals negative 3. So my first step is to move the X over. This becomes negative X minus 3. And this is Y equals negative X minus 3. So my slope is negative 1 because there is nothing written in front of the X. And my y-intercept is negative 3. So I'm going to plot and graph. My y-intercept is negative 3. My slope is negative 1. Another way that we can graph in standard form, especially if it's if the A and the B can divide into C, we can graph using the X and Y intercepts. Here's what I mean by that. Here we have a 3 and we have a 2 as our A and B. 3 and 2 can divide into 6. So therefore, what we can do is we can go ahead and try and find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. And we find those 2 points, we can connect the points and make a line. So let's start with finding the x-intercept. And the x-intercept, remember, whenever we're looking for the x-intercept, the x is going to be there because the x is going to be some sort of value, but the y is going to be 0. So I substitute 0 in for y. Negative 2 times 0 is 0. It goes away. And I'm left with 3x equals negative 6. I divide by 3. X equals negative 2. So my x-intercept is negative 2. And I can do the same thing for y. I can say 3, 0 minus 2y equals negative 6. 3 times 0 is 0. Negative 2y equals negative 6, so I divide by negative 2. And I get y equals 6 divided by 2 is 3, and negative divided by negative makes it positive. So my y value is positive 3. This works because we can do the division and get something nice. If we do the division and get something like 2/3, it's going to be a struggle to graph 2/3. You don't have to use this method, but it's a quick way for you to identify the x and y intercepts. On this problem, 4x minus y equals negative 4. 4 can divide into 4, and this is negative 1, and negative 1 can divide into 4. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute 0 in for y. 4x minus 0 just goes away, and I'm left with 4x equals negative 4. Divide both sides by 4. X equals negative 1. And then I can substitute 0 in for my x value. 4 times 0 is 0. 0 minus y is just negative y. And negative y minus 4, I'm going to go ahead and divide each by negative 1 to make it make a little bit more sense to me. So this y equals a negative divided by a negative is a positive 4. So my x-intercept is negative 1. My y-intercept is 4. You do not have to do this method, but this could be a quicker way rather than solving for slope-intercept. If you solve for slope-intercept every single time and you're doing that effectively, then I would suggest just staying with that.